Hey guys, what is up? Welcome back. Today we have a very exciting video. We are going to be reading only advanced reader copies. I honestly wouldn't even say that I'm an ARC reader, but I have read a few ARCs in my time and I do really enjoy giving reviews. Obviously, I have a book review YouTube channel. I have requested quite a few and gotten approved for quite a few fun romantasy style ARCs recently. I think I have a list of 6 or 7 total that I need to read, and I've just kind of been putting it off a little bit just because I have so many other new books that have been coming in and library holds and stuff. But the deadline is starting to come in for when these books are supposed to be published. The ones that I have requested I've been really intentional about, and I really think that I'm going to enjoy them. I have a few that are going to be published in July that I need to read, and then also a couple in August. So I already started this video over the weekend and I started reading Where North Meets South by, let me get you the author name, hang on, L. Rager. So you probably won't be able to tell at all the cover because it's pretty dark on my Kindle. I'm not sure if I'm saying that right, but it's Rhaeser. And this one comes out on July 11th. The super brief synopsis says it's a spicy fantasy romance exploring loss, family, and the blurred lines between relationships through a forbidden royal love triangle with dire consequences. And I'm definitely starting to see that now that I am 30 or 35% of the way through. So far, my thoughts. I'm super intrigued. There's really not a clear plot. I don't really know what the point of the story is yet. And I just checked, I'm 37% of the way through. And I feel like at this point, it should be pretty clear, the direction where the book is gonna go, and it's really just not. And I'm curious if that's the point. You're supposed to be a little uneasy and a little weirded out by that part, because there's also some kind of weird, creepy, horror-y feelings that I'm getting while I'm reading this book. People creeping around corners and kind of suspenseful feelings that I'm getting. And so I'm curious if you're supposed to be questioning this, because I'm a little creeped out when I'm reading it. It's basically following a family, a royal family, and specifically a girl who is not blood related to the royal family, but was brought up by their nanny. And so she grew up with there's 3 or 4 princes, and she's good friends with them. And she ended up, we find out in the very beginning, it's talking about her romance with one of the princes. But you're in the beginning, you're questioning whether or not you even like this guy, because he's doing some questionable things that you're just he's actually not really a good guy, or is he? Because he's really sweet to her, but to everybody else he's not. I don't know. It's just he's been doing some questionable things where I'm behind closed doors, what kind of person are you? And then there's another brother who is the broody military brother who doesn't say a whole lot, but he's been doing really nice things for her, kind of just randomly, but not even for the point of trying to get her attention or anything. At least as far as we know, he's just kind of doing it because that's the right thing to do. And so I'm thinking that it's probably going to be a little bit of a love triangle there, and maybe a little slightly worried about what the first brother might do if they find out that his other brother's been doing these things for this girl. So I don't know, guys. I don't know. I'm 37% of the way through, and I'm curious to see where it goes. So I think I would just leave it at that. Long-winded explanation about how that book's going. And then I'm just gonna pull up the other ARCs that I have, because I have so many ones that I'm very excited about. Oh, guys, I got approved for Fairydale, the ARC for Fairydale. Isn't that crazy? By Veronica Lancet, I forgot. This is the new cover. So honestly, that might be a good contender because I've seen that going around a whole lot recently. And then there's also The Fairy Morgana by Louisa Morgant, and then House of the Beast by Michelle Wong. And there's not really a cover. I guess this is really the only artwork that we have of it. But this one also sounded like it would be really good. And then I have a couple others on here. I have a lit fic. I have a couple other fantasies. But those are probably the ones that are on my list to read first. We'll finish this book and then maybe we'll read Fairydale. I think that might be our way to go. We'll see how I'm feeling, because I know Fairydale is quite a long book, and recently I've just been feeling like getting through like some quick reads, you know? Do you ever get that feeling where it's just like you need to just like jump from book to book to book and just get it done and just like explore a bunch of different worlds and realms and stuff, and then like you're ready to dive into a really long one? That's kind of like what I'm feeling, so we'll see. My husband and I went to a property last night, or like yesterday, and I just needed like a change of scenery. I don't know, but for some reason I was just feeling like super off kilter this week. It has a lot to do with just like being online and just putting too much energy into that, when I just need to like step back and just like live my life and just be present. And that's exactly what I needed to do. And so we just literally picked up and we went and stayed in the woods last night, and it was the most magical, fantastic thing, and immediately I felt better. I'm probably just gonna read a little bit more. I work tomorrow and I'm off basically all next week. I'm hoping to get a lot of reading in and dive into some of these arcs. So yeah, I'll update you when I get further into this book, and we'll see how it goes. Hey guys, so I just finished our first book in this video, Where North Meets South by Elle Razier. I'm using the mic because I'm outside and I just don't trust the audio to be outside. But yeah, so we finished this book. I have some thoughts, and it's kind of confusing me like how I want to rate this, because I had like a good time. It was a very bingeable book. Like I could have read this book in probably like a day or two if I didn't have to work in between starting it, just because it was just kind of twisty and suspenseful almost, and I was just always like wondering what was going to happen. And then the male main character entered the chat halfway through, and I didn't want to put the book down after that. So yeah, I had a good time, but I don't know, I just didn't really understand the plot, and I just didn't really feel like the plot had really any direction, and I didn't even know if there was a plot until like the very end, which it kind of just made it feel like a romance but in a fantastical setting with this fantastical like background and history, which is absolutely fine. That's just not like what I was expecting. And the end of the book ended on a cliffhanger, and there's 100% going to be like another book. It's going to be a series. So I don't know, I had a really good time. I think this writer can write. Like, she had some fire quote. They were good. They really, really hit. So she can definitely write. I think I would be super interested in other things that she puts out there, but I think that for whatever reason, this book just not having that direction of the plot, for me, that's just something that I look for in fantasy books. Like, I want there to be a very much solidified reason why these characters are alive and why they're present and where the book and series is going to go. And I just don't really feel like I felt that very strongly in this. She has a really good way of like describing the scene and the atmosphere to where I can picture myself immediately in it, and I really enjoyed that about this book. Like, I was always really excited to pick it up to just be fully immersed in the story and the scenes and like with the characters and stuff, and I really enjoyed that part. I would say I would give it a good like 3.5, 4-star probably, maybe more like a 3.5 just because of the plot, but either way, it was good. I have a couple options. So I have, all of my friends really want me to read Draco Malfoy and the Mortifying Idea of Being in Love, I think is what it's called. That's a fanfic, and I have that downloaded. I also have 2 arcs. I have House of the Beast by Michelle Wong and Fairydale by Veronica Lancet. My heart is telling me to read Fairydale right now, and I think that's what I'm going to start. And then maybe I'll pick up the Draco Malfoy fanfic after that, but I am filming this video, so technically it's arcs, and fanfic is not an arc. So maybe I could read House of the Beast after that. I don't know, we'll see. I think I'm gonna pick up Fairydale though. We'll start with that, and then we'll go from there. Friends, I have many updates for you. I am currently 62% of the way through Fairydale. Fairydale is unhinged in the best way, and like every page I feel like I know what's happening, and then my mind gets changed by what happens in the book, and it is just a wild ride. I'm having a good time. I think at first I was a little skeptical because it's a long book. It's like 770 pages or something crazy like that. So I was just like, I was trying to just dig in and kind of like get to the point of the book, and the point is just craziness and like chaos. It's really good. I'm enjoying it because I'm just like always guessing about what's going to happen next. So far, clearly I'm 60% of the way through, and I have not updated you at all because I've just been like trying to figure out what I even think about the book, honestly. And I've gotten to a point where I know the characters, I'm understanding the plot. Let me just tell you a little bit about the book. So we start out following our female main character, I can't remember, Darcy, are following her as she gets this like mysterious letter from these mysterious people she's never heard of before in this little town called Fairydale. And basically they're saying that she has a father that she's never met before, never heard of before, who just passed away and has an inheritance for her. So she has to go to the town to collect this inheritance. And this is like 1950s, I think. And so it's kind of like an ordeal to like go do that. And so she's like saying goodbye to everybody. She heads over there. And when she gets there, immediately she gets picked up by this like super sketch driver who is giving her like creepy vibes and doing like weird shit. And she gets to the town, things are happening that are just like throwing her for a loop and are just like super weird and jaded. And things just keep happening in this town of Fairydale. And then one night she falls asleep in this creepy house, and her dream is flashback in somebody else's mind in the town of Fairydale. And in this dream she meets this man that she feels like solely connected to. And then the story just keeps going on from there. I've really felt myself like feeling for the characters. Like I just read a scene that really kind of like made me super sad, a lot of anguish and stuff. And so, I mean, I feel like when I start actually feeling that in my chest, you know, when you get that like cringy feeling in your chest, that's when you know that you're connected to the characters and you're like invested in the story. I was definitely starting to feel that. And so I think that means that it's a good book. I just am so thrown for a loop this whole time that I'm just like, oh my God, what's going to happen next? Which is really good because that's going to keep me reading. So yeah, very much like a paranormal romance, and I think that's what's kind of throwing me for a loop a little bit because I don't normally read paranormal stuff. I'm not usually like my first choice, but I'm really liking this one. And you get to meet a lot of different characters, and everybody kind of has like a mysterious background, so there's still like so many questions that she's like slowly unraveling throughout the book. So it's nicely balanced. I feel like we're learning things throughout the whole book, and so there's a lot of surprises, a lot of new things to think about. Yeah, you've got these like dual timeline as well, which is cool. But anyways, I stayed up late reading it and I woke up early this morning to read it, so I think that's a sign that I'm enjoying it. And I'm 60% of the way through, but it's a long book, so I probably still have a good like 250 pages left to read. And yeah, I'll update you guys probably when it's over, probably when I finish it, and then we will pick our next book. I'm thinking House of the Beast, but we gotta finish this one first. I have the whole weekend off. Today's Saturday. It's a few days later from my last clip. That is the plan. And I will talk to you guys when I have more updates.
Close your eyes, get some rest. I'm by your side. Lay your head on my chest. Had a really bad day, but I'm right here, it's gonna be okay. The world could fall down, it's gonna be okay. The sun could go out, we're gonna be okay. If all the blue skies fade to gray, we're gonna be okay. Calm your soul, hold my hand, don't let go. I understand.
Look at my hair. I don't know, you're not gonna be able to hear it, but there is a massive thunderstorm rolling in right now. So I finished Fairydale this morning, and we need to talk about it because your girl cried when I finished that book. Basically, I ended up staying up late last night to read Fairydale, and then I woke up early this morning to finish it. And I love this book so much. It's such a beautiful, beautiful love story, and it was not at all like what I was expecting going into that book. Truly, I was just expecting it to be a fun, dark romance, and honestly, with like not a whole lot of substance, just kind of like weird and twisty, a little off the wall, and mainly just about like the dark romance aspect of it. And I was so surprised, so surprised, and in the best way possible. The story was just, has so much depth, and the love story basically traveled through eons, and you got to experience it within flashbacks of the female main character, how she fell in love with this man, who this guy is, who she is, how they got where they were. You learn everything through her eyes, and I just think it was done so beautifully. And honestly, I feel like this book could have been a whole series. She could have had like a good trilogy made out of this just one book, just because there was so much substance, and it almost felt like it was like 3 different books put into one because of the different timelines and stuff that you got from it. Man, I will definitely recommend this to a lot of people just because I had such a good time and was so pleasantly surprised by just like how invested I was in the story and the characters. And I just haven't found a book where I'm like staying up late to read it and waking up early to read it. I just haven't found a book like that in a little while. So I'm very, very happy that I ended up reading it. So happy that I ended up buying the physical copy of it in the old original like indie cover art, just because I think it's beautiful. And I actually almost bought it like 6 or 7 times up until this point, and I just didn't because I wasn't sure. There just wasn't a whole lot of like reviews and stuff out there, and it was already like 30 bucks on Amazon, and I didn't want to spend 30 bucks on a book I just wasn't sure about. But now that it's been picked up by the publisher, I had to get it because it's eventually going to go out of print, or it is already out of print, and it's going to be incredibly hard to find, and that cover art is just stunning. So yeah, I just had a wonderful time, and I cannot wait for more people to read this book and for it to just like get out there more.
You scared?
I was gonna end the video there, but I changed my mind. I think that we are going to read House of the Beast by Michelle Wong next. This is the cover art that I have. It looks really cool. It is a fantasy romance. That is literally all I know about it. I'm gonna read you a quick excerpt of House of the Beast. As darkly whimsical as the most beloved fairy tales and soaked in gothic atmosphere, the gorgeous and evocative illustrations bring to life an unforgettably lush and hypnotically romantic story by Ava Reed. Born out of wedlock and shunned by society, Alma learned to make her peace with solitude, so long as she had her mother by her side. Sorry, I literally can't see. When her mother becomes gravely ill, Alma discovers a clue about her estranged father and writes a message begging for help. Little does she know that she is a bastard of House Evera, one of the 4 noble families that serve the gods and are imbued with their powers, and her father is a vessel of the dreaded beast, the most frightening god of all. In desperate exchange for her mother's medicine, Alma agrees to sacrifice her left arm to the beast in a ceremony that will bind her forever to the house and its deity. Regardless, her mother soon passes, leaving Alma trapped inside the Avera's grand estate, despised by her relatives and nothing but upon her father's schemes. This sounds good. Now, vengeance is the only thing that keeps Alma going. That and the strange connection she has with her god, a monster who's constantly by her side, an eldritch being taking the form of a beautiful prince with starlit hair that only she can see. He tells Alma that she has been chosen to bring a change upon the world, and with his help, Alma plots a perilous journey to destroy the house that stole everything from her. Which sounds good. It says, be prepared to find morally gray characters, toxic codependent relationships, vengeful female main character, chaotic evil trickster god, family rivalries, court intrigue, deadly trials, nightmare realm full of monsters, violence, stunning black and white art by author woven through the text. All of my favorite things. Wow, okay. Well, I guess we are going to be reading House of the Beast by Michelle Wong. Hachi just curled up here on the floor. He's very scared of the thunderstorm right now. So we're just going to be cozying up and starting this book, and I will update you guys once we get further into it, and I'll let you know how we feel. Did I tell you when this comes out? This comes out on August 5th, and Fairydale comes out August 19th. He does not like storms. What are you doing? Got all your toys? You got all your toys with you? Hey guys, I have some updates for you. It is actually like probably a few days later, mainly because it's kind of been a little bit of obviously like a busy week going into July 4th and everything, but also in Texas. If you guys don't know, I'm located in Texas, and there's a lot of like really devastating things that are happening pretty close to home, and it just like brought down the weekend. And honestly, like I just didn't really feel like reading a whole lot, and the book that I was reading, The House of the Beast, which we'll talk about, just like already just I wasn't really feeling it. And so I ended up just not reading at all, like essentially all weekend, just to focus on family, you know, spending some time with my family. My mom and dad came and stayed with us for a night, and then just like enjoying time with my husband. And then on top of that, obviously everything that has been happening in Texas with the floods, and it's just really sad. And I can't talk or think about it too much because I will get really upset. We were lucky all of our family and friends were safe, but we did have some family that were directly involved but were safe. And so it's just something that, like, anytime something like this happens, it just opens up your eyes a little bit to how short life is and how much we take it for granted. And I know Hachi's drinking water in the background. Yeah, just like makes you want to spend more time with family versus like really doing anything else. So that's essentially what I was doing, and so I wasn't really enjoying House of the Beast anyways. I didn't not like it, but I just don't feel like I was the target audience for that book. It just definitely felt a little bit young for me. The main character, we start off with her being like a young girl. I don't even remember how old, but like young. I would say like 9 to 11 years old probably, and then we stay in that point of view for a little while, and then she jumps to being like 18 or 19. And I read up to 40% of this book. So I got 40% of the way through it, and then I decided to DNF. And I decided to DNF because of those reasons we already kind of like talked about, but mostly because I just was not feeling it. I just wasn't feeling like I was the right audience. I felt like it was a little bit too YA, and I just was not feeling like pushing myself or like struggling through a book that I already knew that I was gonna rate like 3 stars. And that's totally okay. And I am upset about it because I don't like DNFing books or like wasting my time on a book that I don't like, but I'm glad that I did read it and experience that to know that it's not a book for me. So yeah, that is going to conclude our ARCs reading vlog because I don't have any ARCs that I feel like reading right now. I've got a couple that are due in like August, but I will get to those at another time. What I ended up actually doing is reading and finishing the next book in the Witcher series, which is like one of my comfort series. It's just so simple, and I love the characters, and it's just your classic like fantasy adventure series, and that's why I love it so much. And it was just an easy read to like just sit down and kind of like escape a little bit. That's what we did instead this weekend, instead of finishing House of the Beast. And if you guys are curious, I actually didn't know this because I've never DNF'd a NetGalley book before. Basically what you can do is you can just, with no hard feelings, you just essentially write your review with any type of constructive criticism in the review box, essentially stating like, I DNF this book at 30%, and then give the reason why, whatever that reason is. And for me, it was a pretty easy one, just felt too young. And then go ahead and put in some like positives or things that you did like about the book. So then that way you're not just saying I didn't finish it, but you're giving the constructive criticism or constructive feedback, which is what they're looking for. Like that's the whole point of you reading the book early. That's what I did, and I just didn't know that that was really an option. So I'm gonna go ahead and end the vlog here, and I hope that you guys have a wonderful weekend and a wonderful week. And if you have anybody or know anyone that's been involved in the floods, I'm thinking of you guys, and I'm just sending all, you know, the positivity and positive vibes your way. And I just wish that there was more that I can do. I always feel kind of like hopeless in these situations. So yeah, so I hope that everybody's safe and healthy and happy over the weekend and the holiday weekend and everything. And I look forward to see you guys in the next video. I post videos every Saturday, and yeah, I'll just see you guys in the next video. Bye guys.